So this is the video number 2, the bull's head Highland cow. So we have blocked, in the previous video we blocked it in. Now I'm just going to focus on the eye area. So I've created a wee hole for the eye to go into. Now I'm just going to create a wee ball of the eyeball. So it very rarely get the size right first time. And you're better having your eye slightly too big, because by the time you put your eyelids over the top, it reduces the visible area, like a iceberg. The amount of eye you see is quite small in proportion of the rest of the orb of the eyeball. That's still too big. So then I just cut that eyeball in half. So I've created a ball about this size. It's not perfectly round, but it's just about the right size. So it's bigger than the hole. So I'm going to cut that in half just with a cutting wire. And before I put the eye in, what I like to do is put a hole right in, wriggle it about, just in case any air gets trapped behind the eyeball. Wiggle, and that needs to go right through. When I'm hollowing this out, I'll need to find that hole again and just make sure there's somewhere for the air to get out. So when you're putting your eye on, you need to think about that diagonal plane, and that eyeball needs to go on in a diagonal plane. It does need to protrude some, but not too much. So as a very, very general guide, you don't want your eyeball to protrude more than your eyebrows. So that line there, you know, it can't protrude more than that. So I'm just very gently patting those in. And I'll make a couple of wee thin sausages of clay. So it's very sort of thin, and what I want to do is think about the tear duct pointing towards the nose, and then we're going to leave a gap there. So just put a little bit of slip there. So this sausage is tapered at one end. I'll put it to the tear duct and then round, overlap in the eye, and just tap that into place. And then the upper eyelid will overlap the tear duct slightly, but leave that gap. So you see how there's a gap there left? That's very important. I'll put that in. Can you see how this is kind of going in a bit of an S? We're going to blend this tail of the S up into that eyebrow. And then we blend this bit in to the side of the nose. So I'm using this wee tool here. Just to tap that in, blend it. So I'll do the same to the other side. It's important to think about where your highest, so there's that S that I spoke about. It's important to think about where the highest bit of that S is in there. You don't want the highest point to be back here, you need it to be towards the front. For blending on a small scale like this, a paintbrush is really handy. Slip. Now marking where the tear duct's going to be, pointing towards the nose, and leave a gap. And I'm just using my nail to nip that off. So I'm just creating a wee bit of a taper again. Then I'll just tap that on, blend it in, and just check, you know, that they're fairly symmetrical. The other thing to think about is just check that the top eyelid sticks out more than the lower eyelid. So you tap it in. So if you think of those eyelids following the curve of your eyeball, this has to go back in. The lower eyelid has to be tucked in. Now, we can start to add a little bit extra on for the, you know, just because the bull's eyebrows are so prominent. So I'm going to add a wee bit extra on over this area. I'll draw it on first, and then I know that the two areas, it's easier then to make the two areas symmetrical. So I'm not going to, whoa, this is too much. I'd always rather add too much and then take some away. So I'm just going to cross hatch both sides. So this very prominent area, it doesn't extend beyond, you see the corner of the outside corner of the eye. So I can sort of start trimming that off a wee bit. So I want to get that filling of a big arc. And I use this tool just to take a wee bit. Back in a wee bit. Let's see, I'll just grab a paintbrush. So I'll just take that excess slip away there. So I'll probably tweak this more once the clay is dry. But I'm happy that I've got the extra volume on there. There. And that it doesn't come down beyond the corner of the eye. I'm just tweaking the area here because I want to feel that. You know, that this area should, when you were working on the horses, we talked about the area from the corner of the eye aiming towards the bottom of the mouth. So we still want to have that feeling of like a V between those two areas, and this area being thinner. So if I mark those areas, so if there was a diagonal line from the forehead, from the corner of the eye to there, the outside of the corner of the eye to there, we know that we want to take away a bit in there to create more of a bridge of the nose, and a wee bit in there. We need a wee bit more fullness underneath there, so I'm just going to give that a wee, pop a wee bit of something on there, just to fill out that area of the V. So this area here. So I don't want this to overlap the eyelid. And I'm using the V as a guide. And it tapers, the highest point, the thickest point is here, and it'll taper and get less towards the point of that V. Right, and because of that bit done, I just want to think about the cheekbone. So I'm just flattening that clay. Get that diagonal angle in. And then I'll just repeat that on the other side. I think it's maybe when I look at that, that's too exaggerated, but I'll let it dry out for a wee while, and then what I'll do is I will go in with you should have one of these tools in your kit. So a tool with a wee wire loop in the shape of a triangle, and I can just go in and trim that off. But I'll wait till it dries off a wee bit more. Yeah. Okay, so I'll work a wee bit more in the other eye. Just get that on. So a bit of cross hatch and slip. Then I know I want that to go right to the corner of the eye. So again, I'm just using this tool that you have in your kit just to join those areas together. So I'm just all I'm doing here is trying to get these two a wee bit more symmetrical. And it's just a wee paintbrush. So now, let's see. Again, I can thin all this out once it dries a wee bit. It's quite soft for thinning it out. Blend that into the... Okay. So that's eyebrows done. Oh yes, there's this other area to add as well. So I'll just mark that in. If I was run a line from here to here and from here to here. So I want that to be there actually. This is the area I want to fill out. And this is the area I want to thin. Fill out and thin this area. And thin a wee bit here. So again, don't want to lose that lower eyelid. This needs to be graduated. So, I don't think you have this exact tool, so I'll get a tool that's going to, this is the tool you have here. So I'm going to start taking wee bits just to make the nostril more prominent, or the nostril, the muzzle more prominent. I'm just going to, and every time I do a sweep, try to get the tool clean again. So I can refer to my drawings, and from the drawings I can see that the fullest bit of this curve is actually down here above the lips. So you can use the bigger tool or the smaller wire tool, just to take off there. So what I do on one side, then I have to do the other. Starting to get dark right there, so I'll just get a bit of better light on it. Right, now that I'm happier with the the definition there. And that we have enough separation between the cheeks and the bottom of the nose. You need to have a wee bit of a gap here, good sort of thumb you can say that, thumb thickness there. Right, now we'll look at creating the nose. So I'm going to go for a tool like this. I think you have one in your kit very similar, but if you don't, actually I should use just one of these coffee stirrers, probably do the job just as well. So I'm going to draw on where I want the nostrils to go. So the nostrils are more on this top plane, they're not round the corner, so they're more on this top plane here. Okay, I'll just get my centre line in to help me with my symmetry, and then they're nearly going like a smile, so we'll get 2 wee smiles in. But you can help yourself if you use a tool, you know, to get the 2 smiles the same. A spoon would maybe do, you know, the handle of a spoon might do the same thing. This is just to get the... So what I'm looking for is that they're symmetrical. Then I'm just going to use the end of my brush and make it wider on the inside. Again, by using tools, it's easier to keep them symmetrical. So then I'm going to use this tool to give me a wee line. Oh, this tool, per tool is worn more on one side than the other. But if you, this is more. So if you had something symmetrical, I'm going to use this tool here. And that's not symmetrical either. It's close enough. Let's see, is that a better angle? Just want to give myself a wee mark to go by. Then I'm just going to push that ever so slightly back so that the fleshy part of the nose is proud. And I'll work around. So and then I'm just going to have to put it. Let me see. And then what you can do is with your thumb in the center of that line, push in to give yourself a bit of a mouth. Then we'll come around the sides, just press that in. I'm just going to use the corner of my fingernail just to push the corner of the mouth up a little. And do the same other side. I'm just going to push that up a wee bit. Corner of the mouth. Okay. So that would, you know, that's as much work as I would do to that nose when it's, you know, in this just out of the bag kind of wetness. So what I will do is just want to put in like a wee star, really just a wee bit of texture for myself so that I know. And I'm using my drawings as a guide to where that star goes. This is just really to give some texture. But because we're going to make these into Highland cows, we're going to be adding on a lot of texture. But it's useful to know where that line is, because when you're adding the texture on, it's going to come out from that line. So, just a wee bit of a... So I'm just putting in a wee bit more detail. And then I'm just going to use this tool just to find the jawline a wee bit better now that I have the portions here. And we can work this bit on round. And I'm going to measure that from the centre of the eye to there. All the way out this side. So where I chose to measure it from was the centre of the eye. And I'm just going to bring that on round. So I'm going to bring it on round and join these bits. So a bit of cross hatch and slip. You might, the people at the class, you might not be able to have enough clay to do this. It just depends. Depends how, well, to be honest, it depends how accurately you've kind of measured it all out. You know, if you end up, so you were to leave half the clay from the eyes to the back of the head, and then half the clay from the eyes to the front of the head. What tends to happen quite a lot when people are making is that instead of the eyes staying in the front half, the eyes migrate further and further back, and then you end up with not enough clay left. So if that's happened, don't worry, I'll have more clay with me on Monday night. Now I'm just going to slip that together. And I'll just bring these on around. Now this whole thing will need to be sectioned and hollowed out when I'm finished modelling it. For now. So now the neck will end up going out there, but we're not going to worry because this is actually going to go on to a board. So we're not going to have the whole neck. We're just going to finish it at the back of the head, if you like. What I do need to know, what that's showing me there is this has to come down here. So we just have to take that corner off. This gets blended in a bit more. I'm just going to push that out a wee bit. So I'm just putting my finger inside and smoothing that join from the inside as well. So all I'm going to do to finish off now is get another bit of clay. Oh gosh, what do I say? All I'll do now is get another bit of clay and add that on for the crown. But okay. So the crown doesn't go as wide as the eyebrows. The crown is really more to the center of the eyes. So I just blend that in all the way around, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 wee holes to put the horns in, because we're going to make the horns out of a white clay, a white earthenware clay. I'm just going to pop a wee hole in. Okay, that will do us for now. So I'll stop the video here, and I'll make another video tomorrow morning of the next wee stage. Even as I sit here, I can see wee areas that are not quite symmetrical. So yeah, just as you're working, always keep a wee eye on your symmetry, that it's the same the 2 sides. Okay, thank you for watching.